Austen Lane, ESPN 690, and Action Sports Jax, giving you my three takeaways, my three observations of this Jaguars Dolphins game, Thursday night prime time, the world watching, and the Jaguars lose 31-13. There's not a lot of good from this, guys. All right. I like to be optimistic, but I'm also a realist. And this was a rough game to watch. This was a giant letdown. This team did not come ready to play. And with that being said, let's get into my three takeaways real quick. It's going to be a short one because I'm tired. It's past my bedtime. I'm sure you guys are tired too. So we got to talk about the defense. This is the biggest hole right now. This is the biggest liability on this team is the defense. You talk about a defense who once again gave up an opening touchdown, once again goes down in the hole, this time 14-0. Once again, the quarterback looks fantastic. Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's like almost 40 years old, I think he rushed for like almost 40, 50 yards. Only had 2 incompletions the whole game. Could have made it a lot worse at the end if he chose to. But we're talking about an average quarterback, I think, right now, on the back nine of his career, had an absolute field day picking the Jaguars' defense apart. And this falls on everybody. Falls on the defensive line, falls on the secondary. The whole week we heard about how their goal was to stop the run, stop the run, stop the run. Well, you didn't stop the run to start things off with. And you could see adjustments trying to be made. You saw Avery Jones playing defensive end a little bit. They were literally trying to throw the kitchen sink at the Miami Dolphins. And in the first half, it didn't matter what the Jaguars did. They weren't stopping it. And that's a problem now. There needs to be some kind of change. It's as simple as that, because you cannot put your team over and over and over again 14 points in the hole. Okay? It's one thing if you have Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs offense, or if you have, maybe like the Ravens offense, the Seahawks. We don't have that right now. We had a decent offense, but we don't have a high power, going to put up 40 points a game kind of offense right now. We don't have that. I'm not sure what the first 2 weeks was, but we don't have that right now. So the defense has to do their part. And whether it was the lack of pass rush once again, Josh Allen got his sack, but set aside from that, pass rush, again, kind of non-existent. The interior pressure, it's nowhere to be seen. I don't know if you guys start blitzing people, what you have to do, but there is no interior pressure. And containing your rush lanes and your gap integrity. Too many times Ryan Tannehill, who once again is almost 40 years old, I don't know what he runs the 40-yard dash in, but he looked like Mike Vick out there, just picking the Jaguars apart in terms of passing, but also finding open lanes to run in. You have to have some kind of gap integrity. Guess what? This guy has played in the NFL for how long? There's tons of film of him out there. He's going to scramble a little bit. So you got to figure it out. Simple as that. So defense, not good. Not good on anywhere. C.J. Henderson got picked on. Josh Jones got picked on a little bit. I mean, listen, I can pick apart every single person in this defense and say something that they didn't do right. Okay? So you don't need me to break it down. You guys watched the same game I did. Okay? The defense right now, there's a problem. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know how you fix it. Okay? Because the personnel right now that they have, I don't know if it's up to snuff, let's just say. All right? My second takeaway, and this falls more on the penalties, the mental errors, the drop balls. From the get-go, I felt like this team wasn't prepared to play. Okay? Now, whether that falls on the players, whether it falls on the coaches, I'm not going to break that down right now. That's up for you guys to decide, right? But all I'm saying is that these guys did not come ready to play tonight. On a primetime game of a ball game, the one primetime game that you have this year with the country watching, your chance to showcase who you are as a team, a chance to showcase the team that beat the Colts, that went toe-to-toe with the Tennessee Titans, and you come out like this. And it's very telling to teams that when they go into the games that they're expected to win, and they have performances like this, it's very telling actually what kind of team you have. Now, I'm not calling the Colts win a fluke. I'm not calling the Tennessee Titans game a fluke. But I'm just saying maybe the Jaguars aren't as good as we thought they were right now. Okay? because you just lost to a Miami Dolphins team who, in my opinion, isn't that good. Yes, they played the Patriots, and yes, they played the Bills, two tough teams to start things off with. But I'll be honest, man, if you go top to bottom on this roster right now for the Miami Dolphins, it's not supposed to scare you, all right? And their secondary was, and we'll get on the offense a little bit here, but their secondary decimated by injury a little bit. Their defense, not intimidating. Ryan Fitzpatrick, it is what it is. But needless to say, this Jaguars team came out and made the Miami Dolphins look like AFC North division contenders, let's just say. All right? And to me, the lackadaisical play, it started to me with that C.J. Henderson, let's just call it that, mental error. When the guy falls down the receiver in the first quarter, he doesn't tag him up, the guy gets an extra 5 or 6 yards. Okay, that's basic NFL 101, where you're not in college anymore. If a receiver goes down and he's in front of you, you tap him up, the play is over. He didn't do that. And then you had the drop balls from Chris Conley, not doing Gardner Minshew any favors, right? And it was just these little ticky-tack things here or there, or the penalty here, the penalty there. It's just these little things that just kind of showed, listen, you guys didn't come ready to play tonight. And once again, I'll repeat myself. I don't know if you want to put that on the coaching, put it on the players, a little bit of both, whatever it is, but there's no excuse for what you saw on that field tonight, in my opinion. Your team showed that they were too good against the Colts and the Titans. It's one thing if they came out and we expected them to be who we thought they were in the preseason. But that's not the case, right? Expectations grew a little bit. All of a sudden, it's like, okay, this team might have something special. And then you come out against this team that you're supposed to beat, not a good look. So, once again, I don't know if it falls on coaching or the players, but these guys did not come ready to play. And it was a bad look from all three phases. All three phases. Last takeaway, and it's probably the biggest question now going forward is Gardner Minshew the guy? It's crazy how we go from 2 weeks of we sing his praises and we think this guy's going to be the guy for the next 10 years or so. And now we're sitting here. It's like, what the heck was that? Okay. And to be honest, it doesn't help when you start in the hole 14-0. Okay. And towards the end of that game, it was obvious he was trying to make things happen way too much. And he had turnovers, right? He had the one fumble off the sack. He had that one interception. Obviously, he held on the ball for a little bit too long with some of these plays where he took multiple sacks he probably shouldn't have taken. But, I mean, overall, man, listen, I can sit here and say it falls on Gardner Minshew because at the end of the day, that's what he signed up for, right? You're the quarterback, you're the general of the field, and you didn't perform well under the bright lights. Ironically, it seemed like last year, Thursday night, was his coming out party. And now we leave this game thinking like we're a little hesitant. Now, keep in mind, it's one game, right? And granted, it was a bad game, but you can't turn your back on the guy just yet. I'm convinced with that. And at the end of the day, and I always say this, if you have a high-powered offense, and right now I'm not sure the Jaguars do have that. I think they do. I think they're a top 15 offense. But if you have a top 15 offense, you have to remember, every single week you're not going to come out and put up 40 points a game. It's just how the NFL works. It doesn't matter if you have the Ravens offense, the Chiefs offense, the Seahawks offense, the Bills offense. There's going to be those games where you come out and for whatever reason, things aren't clicking, right? And for whatever reason, you're making mistakes. That's when the defense was supposed to have your back. That's when a special teams play or, something like that is supposed to have your offense's back. And right now on this team, the most important year for Gardner Minshew to see if he's the guy going forward, he's not getting a lot of help from the defense. He's not getting a lot of help from the drop balls. And obviously, he's not getting a lot of help from just being behind in the game. So it falls on everybody, yes, and it also falls on Minshew. But there's got to be some point where it's like, all right, man, we're going to roll with you. We got your back. Let's go out here and stop this team on third down. Or let's go out here and make sure we secure these catches. Let's go out here and make sure we run the crisp routes. Let's go out here and make sure we don't have any penalties. It's the little things like that are killing this team right now. And you go to Cincinnati, and let's not get it twisted. Cincinnati, I'm worried about that game now. And obviously we'll break that game down later in the week here. We got a little time now. We have some time to stew on this loss, and hopefully the team does stew on this loss and they learn from this. But at the end of the day, my biggest takeaway is that this defense, something has to change. So whether it's a philosophy, a scheme, you blitz, something has to change, because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. And right now, 3 weeks in a row, we've seen a defense that's been absolutely porous in the secondary. We've seen a defense give up way too many points, and we've seen a defense that, wants to bend, but then they end up breaking. And to all you out there, my last little takeaway, to all you out there, I see you on Facebook and I see you on Twitter saying, well, the Jaguars next game, they should opt to receive the ball first. And if they win the coin toss, go get the ball. Get the ball. Don't kick off. Don't put yourself on defense right away. Put yourself on offense. I'm here to tell you guys right now, I don't know what you're watching. Does it really matter? Does it really matter if the offense has the ball the first drive of the series or if it's a second drive? Who cares? At the end of the day, scripted plays are scripted plays. And no matter what, if the Jaguars got the ball first, they go down and score, the Dolphins would have came out, ran their scripted plays, and put the ball down the Jaguars' throat. So to me, it doesn't matter if you get the ball first or second. Right now, you have a defense that can't stop anybody. So to all you people out there that are like, well, they should have received the ball first and went to... No. Forget the whole momentum thing. Forget the whole being at home. No. At the end of the day, this defense right now, they're having problems.